Hey guys, Dylan Ross here, and welcome back to the channel. On today's episode of Draw, we're going to learn how to do one of the most important parts of the face, the eyes. So stick around and let's see what we can come up with. Alright guys, so all we need for this is a pencil and paper. If you need to pause this and get your stuff together, go ahead and do that now. You can pause at any time. That's the best part about these videos. If I leave you, just pause. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so let's start with our basic planes of the eye. We're going to use three shapes, three lines to create the top. And then the bottom is just going to be two. We're going to do one and then here. Alright, from here let's go ahead and bring our actual eyeball shape in. And I like to have it to where this part actually comes over this and down in here. Alright, from there let's go ahead and put our iris in. And you'd want to do these kind of lightly because we're going to be covering these up. Alright, so this eye is actually looking a little bit this direction. Alright, now let's put an eyelid in here. Actually, first let's put a tear duct in here. And let's put our tear duct on this side. So here's the ball of the eye. So we're going to have our tear duct's going to be there. And once we have this, we can bring our eyelid. We want to go over this part of the eye and down into this area. Here we're going to put this next line just to kind of cup the bottom here. And you'll see this line is actually, we've already made our eyelid here. Alright, I'm going to clean it up just a little bit. Alright, now that we got it cleaned up a little bit, we'll just kind of erase this line out. And you can kind of bring it back in and make it a little smoother there to really show this dimension here, because this is a plane. Alright, we're going to come in like that. This is where you can shade this part of the eyeball. You got to think it's like a sphere here, so the light is actually going to be changing on it, and you're just seeing kind of this part of a sphere. So it's going to be shadowed here, shadowed there, especially from this eyelid up here. Now we can actually come in, make this eyelid sealed right here. This is where our eyebrow will be. And the eyebrow, we're just going to kind of do this with the hair for now. We're not worrying about this too much right now. Our nose will be in this region, but let's keep focused on the eye. Alright, so now our eye's like this. Let's go ahead and get our iris going a little more. And it's very easy to make the iris too narrow or way too big. You want basically the same amount on the sides as you do in the middle. So this could be a little larger. And you want to have the roundness here. You don't want to show the top. You want to show more of the bottom than the top. Because your eyelids, if you have the top showing here and whiten the eye above here, you're going to look like you have really big bulgy eyeballs. And nobody wants that, unless you do want that. Alright, so let's just get a little shadow going here. Our eyelashes will come in like this. The bottom eyelashes will be, basically I'll attach them to this eyelid here. And you can kind of make these shapes like triangles. They're just going to meet together. You can bring a little shadowing down into here. Same goes for this part. You can bring the shadow down into this. This is going to be the bottom crease of the eye, and this is getting a little more advanced here. We're trying to stay away from that in this lesson at least. So let's focus back on the eye. We're going to do our pupil here, and as the light hits the eye, one side is going to be, because the way the eye is shaped, you actually have like a convex, I can't think of the word, cornea here. And so you're going to have your cornea, the pupils down underneath this. So the light, if the light's hitting it here, you're going to have a darker spot over here, or vice versa. But wherever the light's hitting it, you're going to have a glare from that. And so that's the little white spot right here. And so it's going to be darker up here around it. And then we're going to do just a pitch black. Iris, or pupil. And then here we can bring in some lines that make up the colors in the eye. Just making these eyelashes a bit darker. And this is where you can kind of touch up some of this stuff, some of these crazy lines we had earlier. And then come in, give a nice ring around the eye. And then I like to just come back in and shade in most of this at the bottom. It's going to make this pop even more. And here we can just add in a few smaller details. Really work on our darkest areas. And get the shape of these eyebrows. We'll play around with the eyebrows a little bit here. But let's go ahead and move on to the second part of this lesson. We're going to actually show how to do both eyes on the head. And so the first thing we're going to do is kind of make this same little shape here for each eye. And what I do is I also bring this out like basically the second shape here, just kind of the same 3 lines here but larger above it. Then whatever this distance is, I'm do that here for the nose, the bridge of the nose. Then I do the same distance here between the eyes. And then I do the same shape, but mirrored. So, not perfect, but something like that. Almost looks like a Ninja Turtle. Alright, now that we've got it here, we can go back to the way we did the first one. We do our eyeballs in here. Kind of put them in the correct spot here. We know where our eyes are going to go, so I'm just going to do slope of mine like this. We'll complete it kind of like that. Put our irises in. Go ahead and kind of mark where I want my pupil to be. Here we can pretend the bridge of the nose is coming down if we wanted to. I like here to bring the eyes in with the tear ducts. And it's always helpful to do both eyes at the same time. If you do one and then go back and try to do the other, it's just going to be a little more challenging to try to get everything everything symmetrical. So let's come in here, do the crease at the bottom of the eye. And then we can do the same thing up here, where the brow is kind of just weighing down onto the orbital bone. Alright, now let's clean it up a little bit. Alright, now that we've got it cleaned up a little bit, we can kind of just come back in, put our stuff exactly where we want it. There we go. And now we can do the shading of the actual eyeball. The whites of the eyes are never actually white. So that'll be fine with that. Then this is going to be shaded. And guys, this is just going to be pretty basic here. We're not going to try to win any awards for this tutorial. Alright, we're just going to shade in this area right here. Kind of give it a little shape underneath their brow line. Alright, so now that we have these kind of on there, we can do a little more details. Just bring out a few more things. Work on our darks. And I'm not going to worry too much about the rest of the face here. But now we can also bring in our eyebrow. That's going to really complete the actual look of the eyes. And so the way we do this is we're going to follow this kind of line that we used to have here. We're going to do one plane this way and one plane this way. And the way eyebrows work, they kind of start going up and then they go sideways once they get here. And these are pretty full eyebrows. Then we can give some eyelashes to the bottom of the eyes. And if you wanted to, this is where you could really age the person by making this big and baggy here. Or even add a second big dark wrinkle here. And with the wrinkles, you just want to shade the bottom sides up like that. Follow these creases here in the eyes. Here we're getting into a little more than just an eye tutorial, but this is kind of, if you know how to do an eye, it's kind of like cooking. If you have a recipe, you stick to the recipe, you learn how to cook a little better, you can start bringing in your own ingredients to make the recipe kind of your way. And that's what we're hoping to get to in these lessons, is kind of just give you the ingredients for a few meals, and then you learn how to cook, and then you're able to do whatever you want. And so here we go. This is looking pretty good already. Just a couple minutes in to a little drawing, but I could easily bring this out and make a nose down here. It's kind of got a weird glare on this side from the light I'm using. That made it a little worse. Here you can kind of see it maybe a little better without so much of the glare. I always like to get the darkest parts of my drawings in the eyes. I think it adds an extra element to it. But anyway. And so to kind of just go over what we've learned today, we've learned how to build this eye shape just by basically 3 planes here, 2 planes here, putting our eyeball, and then we can cover it up. We can make this big and wide, we can make them very low and sleepy. But either way, we put this bottom here, a little crease here for this, put our brow up here, your nose goes here, and if we want to do 2 together, we just basically do the same thing. If you want to get this shape in here just a little bit more, Sometimes it helps, sometimes you don't even need it. But yeah, just basically these basic shapes really are going to help you build your eyes. Maybe not as wonky as this, but building pretty consistent and steady eyes that allow you to get deep details and to show the real depth and layers that you have with an eye. It's not just a flat football shape with a circle in it. It's this. It's more of an actual shape with a lot of dimensions going on. You know, from the side, there's an actual shape going on here. So that's kind of what we're trying to get to. And we're going to dive into this a little bit more in more advanced tutorials when it comes to eyes, brow shape, wrinkles and stuff like that. But this, for a basic course, I think we're pretty good here to go ahead and call it for the day. And so there you have it, guys. I hope you learned something today. And I'm going to be doing a little more advanced tutorials on eyes, doing some color, doing some paint and stuff like that in the next few months. So give me a like and subscribe. That way you'll get a notification when I put that video out. Shoot me a message or comments. Let me know what you like, dislike about this video and what you'd like to see in the next one. And I'm also twitching I'm going live on Twitch and Facebook on Tuesdays. I guess it's twitching. Maybe we'll be twitching. And but yeah, so I'll be on there. You can hop in there, give me some questions, advice. Just check out what I'm working on. Drop me some requests for doodles or drawings. You never know, might draw something for you guys. But yeah, guys, just keep coming and checking these things out. And until we meet again, keep creating.